Each year, I have the honor of introducing our guest. And each year, as I read their citations, their stories, and get to know them, I am truly amazed at the courage these men show and the insurmountable challenges that they faced. Our guest tonight showed a courage few of us could ever imagine doing ourselves. In 1965, he enlisted in the U.S. Navy and volunteered for Vietnam in 1967. He was embedded with the Marines Company M as a hospital corpsman. On May 16, 1968, having treated some Marines from heat exhaustion, he was returning to his platoon when his company was attacked by the North Vietnamese. Under fire, and while attending to the wounds of a Marine, an enemy grenade landed near them, along with 4 other Marines nearby. Without any thought of his life, his own life, he threw himself over the grenade to shield the 5 Marines from the deadly blast. After waiting for what must have seemed like an eternity, he realized that the grenade failed to explode. And he simply stood up, and he immediately went back to the job at hand, tending to the other Marines' wounds. On this day, May 16, 1968, he saved the lives of all these men without any regard for his own safety or his own life. And on May 14, 1970, President Richard M. Nixon presented him the Medal of Honor for his heroic actions. His care and sacrifice for others doesn't stop there. After returning from Vietnam, he switched services and joined the Kansas City Army National Guard, where he served until 1990, retiring as a colonel. He spends most of his time diligently working with veterans and their organizations, bringing awareness to the struggles in returning to civilian life, health care, and dealing with PTSD. He owns a funeral home that helps provide veterans and their families that are unable to pay for funeral services and expenses. And he travels the country many days a year, again, without thought of himself, but with his fellow veterans, his main goal, to provide, protect, and aid in their need. He truly is an American hero. It is my great honor to say thank you for your service, sir, and to introduce to you our hero of the evening, Medal of Honor recipient, Donald Doc Ballard.
Can you hear me in the back? Too bad. No sympathy. Well, as I was introduced, I sat out there and listened to that introduction, and I have a soft heart in all my thoughts and prayers for veterans. There is no greater love for this country than veterans. And I'd like to see all of you that are veterans, instead of getting up, just wave your hands. All the veterans of this great country. There is no greater love. I travel quite a bit, and I get to witness a lot of activities and a lot of interaction between the old, the young, and the new. And I've often wondered, because I've grown up through the years of, in the 60s we had the military, and we had a reason to get in. It was called the draft. You know, or you avoided it, one of the two. And for us to have all voluntary kids today that want to go, knowing they're going to have to fight, let's give them the respect. I came out of Vietnam, wanted to go to college, but I wanted to stay connected somehow. So at one of my speaking, that's a good word, at one of my opportunities to speak, I was approached by this colonel who invited me over to the National Guard Armory, and they said, well, you can earn some tuition money while you're getting your college. So I ended up joining the Kansas Army National Guard, and I loved every minute of it. It was my treatment, because I just come home from Vietnam. If the older guys in this room and people will understand that it was a terrible time in this country. We hated the military was not loved, it was not liked, it was not respected by the liberals. I'm sorry if you're out here tonight, I give a shit less. Now you might figure that I'm not politically correct, and if you expect that, you might as well leave right now, because I'm not. I fought for a right to have an opinion, and I respect the right that you have an opinion. Just shut the hell up. I mean, you can tell me once, and that's it. I'm okay with it. But just, don't be poking me on my chest telling me that you want me to join your religion. You know what I mean? In any case, I have had a tremendous life, because life's about choices. And you make up, your daily activities and your livelihood, and you are in charge of your destiny. And I know us old guys that's retired, we already understand that, and I'm retarded 3 times. So I don't know what retirement means except redirected. But I go where I feel like I'm needed, I feel like where I'm respected, where I feel like I'm appreciated, and I think all of us do that. And when I was a child, I was raised with the attitude that it's better to give than receive. I didn't believe that at Christmas time, but, I come to realize that there is some meaning to that. It's better to give than receive, as long as it don't hurt you. You know what I mean? You got to take care of your families. All of us have a desire to want our kids to be better than we were, to have better things than we had. That's human nature, even though we screwed up. They're the terrible lives that we've got the kids with what we've raised. And I blame myself, and I blame, because I have 8 children. I came home 8 times. And my kids are pretty good, because one of them just joined the Marines about 6 years ago. He's a sergeant in the Marine Corps. How do you spell that? Anyway, there is no greater love. I respect and love all people that respect and love this country. You don't have to serve in a uniform to love this country. I don't find fault with people that have not served. I had several relatives that could not serve for various reasons. I sat around the kitchen table with them. They respected me because I did, and they were grateful. But after, when you hear their stories and why they couldn't serve, that did not diminish the patriotism that they had in their heart. And so I always talk about the people that did not serve, but they can serve now. You can serve the military. You didn't serve in the military, but you can serve the military. Take care of the guys that did go, and men and women that served. It's time for us to step up and take care of them. It's a natural progression, but It's a show of love and a show of respect. And I don't care what side of the fence. You saw the back of the program tonight. You saw me with that other guy there, right? You know what political influence I have, and what persuasion I have. And again, I didn't choose that particular photograph, but I'm damn glad I'm in a group of people that appreciate it. You know? I have to always watch what I say. Not that I care, but other people do. You shouldn't have said that. I said, oh, well, hell with them, you know? And it's not normally the word I use. But anyway, it's a four-letter word, starts with F, you know, hell with them. Hell with them. But in any case, I'm here tonight to have a good time. I hope that you have a good time. I'll probably tell a joke or two to benefit me. I don't care whether you laugh or not, but if you can laugh with me, fine. You know, it's good. I have post-traumatic stress humor. Think about it. Post-traumatic stress humor. I laugh instead of cry. You know, it's just my personality disorder, how I deal with it. When we came back in the 60s, you know, the country was not as good as it is today. Certainly the attitude towards the military. We had a great we've always had a great country. It's why in the hell people think they want to change it. I can't understand why there's so much hatred in this country today. Hell with them. I don't understand why we have so much hatred. And it's always great to be around real patriots, real people that want to love this country and support the people. I did not vote for any of the previous guys, Obama or Clinton. I didn't vote for them, but they were damn sure the president of the United States, and I damn sure supported them. I wanted Obama to correct. We gave the only black guy in the history of this country the opportunity to make a difference, and he failed. They set us back 20 years. I have never been prejudiced. I've never owned a slave. Come on, give me a break. I am a Cherokee Indian. I hate all you white people. I'm from Ponca City, Oklahoma, and I hate all of you. Hoorah. How? I know how. Who? That's the question. It's not. But in any case, you know, we've been fighting terrorism since 1492. You know, we should have sunk those ships when the British sent them over here, or the Spanish. You white people, anyway. I am here to have fun. And I hope, like I said, if I would offer it up for questions, but I know that's ridiculous. But the whole issue is to spread the wealth of knowledge that all of us have, and to carry the patriotism to other communities. It broadens my heart, actually, to be around other patriots that care about this country. And I've, as I was introduced, I've done a lot of different things over my life, and I finally ended up being a funeral director. And you know, when I was shaking your hands, I was checking for a pulse. Some of you I've got doubt about. I left my business card. You know, you got my business card. I handed it to you. If you plan on getting out of this alive, let me know how you do it. I want to know. Now, as an educational theory here, how many of you think that the government is going to take care of you, all you veterans, how many are they going to take care of you when you die? You've been promised everything. Well, I just asked Mad Dog Maddox the other day. I said, 4-star general, I said, sir, I said, is the military, you being a veteran, 4-star, top dog in the military, I said, what veteran benefits do you have when it comes time for your funeral? Oh, they're going to take care of me. They are. I hate telling 4-star generals that they don't know what the hell they're talking about. But no, they do not take care of any veteran. As a Medal of Honor, retired colonel, they do not provide any funeral benefits. Okay? Exceptions, always. If you died with service-connected disabilities in the VA, they're responsible. If you die at home or die at the nursing home or wherever, you're on your own, women. You take care of your husband. There is no funeral benefits for veterans. That's why I became a funeral director, because there's a crack, there's a void, and I stepped up to become a funeral director so I can provide free or as close to free funerals as I can for veterans that can't afford them. And that's only out of the learning curve that I learned. I thought, just like everybody else, that they were going to take care of me because they were free at Arlington, free at the national cemeteries, That's all true, but how do you get from the deathbed to the cemetery? That's where the cost is, and that's where the problems are. So all you women out there that's taking care of your husbands, or vice versa, when the guys get ready to put their wives in final resting spot, you should be aware. And I travel the country teaching seminars on your benefits, with veterans benefits, and just the public, general public. Is there a funeral director in here, civilian funeral director in here? Yeah, I wouldn't raise my hand either. Most of them are really not there for you. They're all about the money. And when I got into it, because one of my patients died, and it was a long story, but anyway, I saw a need, and I went back to college at 62, and I was the oldest student ever to go through the course. Luckily, being a Navy corpsman, I tested out of like 2 years of the course, because I had prior educational skills. But the first thing they taught me was to learn how to find out how they're going to pay for it. You got insurance? How much do you got? Well, that's my goal, is to take it all. I sell you the highest price casket that you can afford, and I have a non-allergenic pillow for $200. Come on. I know it seems funny, and I'm off the beaten path here, but more and more times people ask me, why did I become a funeral director, and what the benefits are. There are none. I think if I look back, in Vietnam, I put a lot of guys in body bags, never to see or hear from them again. Well, today I meet body bags, and I meet with the families, and those are my guys. Those are my Vietnam buddies that I put in bags. Same age, same nationality, same creed, same religion, doesn't matter. So I pick up those body bags and I meet with their families, and I try to help them through the grieving process. That's my treatment. That's what I do for myself. I take no salary, because if you take a salary, it becomes a job, and then you hate it. So I have no job. I have no salary. I do have nonprofits that fund me, and on the back there it says doc. There's me holding a doc book. I sell those books. I also have 2 Medal of Honor books that I use to pay for the funerals of the guys and gals that have died. If any of you want to buy one of my books, we'll get your name and phone number, or name and address or phone number, and I would appreciate a donation. It all goes to the funerals of the fallen. But that's not what I'm here for. My real issue is to thank you for your service, not only to the country, but to your community, because I recognize the importance of the policemen, the firemen, paramedics, and we can thank the Vietnam veterans in this room and across the country for bringing back what we have on the streets today as paramedics, the EMTs, the firefighters. All that was a result out of Vietnam. We had no military, we had no really EMTs on the streets before Vietnam. The advent of the airway management, the golden hour was designed. Everything that we have today in the way of even the helicopters, with the medevac helicopters, that they call them life flight, in the civilian world. That's all Vietnam generated. And I want to hang something good on Vietnam. There is nothing good that we can say about it. So I'm always looking to find some good things to say. And my attitude is, well, we brought home the medical treatment that you benefit from in the streets down here today. So let's thank the Vietnam guys. I think the other thing that should be remembered is, again, we suffered. This country was suffering from anti-everything. And the military, we were baby killers. We were spit on. I had cups of urine thrown on me. We were not allowed to wear our uniform off base. It was a terrible time in this country. And it was the Vietnam guys, again, that turned all that around and said, we're not going to let it happen to the new kids. So let's get it changed. And we stood up in the airports when people came through in uniforms. All of us collectively stood up and started clapping, and the sheeple would get up and clap with us, not knowing why, but they would, they were led to believe that if we were doing it, then they should be doing it too. Same sheeple we have today that vote. But in any case, our whole attitude was, again, you should thank the Vietnam era veterans that helped you get what you're receiving today. And we've thanked the military without a doubt. There is no greater love. We all thank the active duty people for wanting to serve, but remember your heritage. I'm just here to help you understand that it wasn't like that before. And it was up to the Vietnam veterans to make it good for you. So thank a Vietnam vet when you get a chance. I travel the country quite a bit trying to figure out and as well as convey my thoughts as to why there's so much hatred. Why can't we get along? We have inter-service rivalry, the Marines against the Army, and the Army against the Navy, and everybody against the Air Force, because we should be. I remember at Vietnam, they come over 30,000 feet, drop their ordnance, bang, go back to Hawaii. What the hell was that? I said, why didn't I join the Air Force? I wasn't smart enough. That's what it was. I didn't look good in uniform, I guess. I don't know. But there is no greater love than what we all have. It's the same employer. We all work for the same employer and to protect this country. And that's all our mission is to protect our rights, our freedom, and the love that we have for this great country. And it's always inspiring to get out into communities like I have tonight and see the real grassroots people that own this country. And the trouble with it is we don't act like we own it. We allow those frickin' politicians to own it. Is there any politicians in here tonight? Yeah, I wouldn't raise my hand either. We took an oath to defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. Well, who in the hell's a domestic enemy if it's not a politician? It is the politicians. Let's make them, and we the people. Come on, we're the voters. We the people. We've lost sight that we should be screaming at them and telling them to do it our way or hit the highway. We allow these politicians to eat and sponge off of us for eternity. It ought to be term limits. They ought to live by the same damn laws they require us to. Now, I like the ones shaking your head and clapping. I don't know about the rest of you, but it's a true statement. Unless we stand up and take control of this country, we're going to be the underdogs, always. We need 20. Okay. We have a good chance 2020, but we almost lost it here just not too long ago. It was not the Russians that convinced me to vote for Trump. It was Hillary. I was ready to stop the tomatoes or the grenades or whatever. There is no greater love, and I'm just grateful. There's probably one or two of you out there that didn't like what I said, but I don't give a damn. You know, you have a right to an opinion, just keep it to yourself. Like I said, I came to enjoy myself. Yeah, I started my career in the Navy because my mother her closest friend was on the Selective Service Board, and she said, your son's name is on the draft list, so you better tell him that if he wanted a choice into what he was going to do, he better be checking it out. So the first thing I did, I went to the Marine Corps because they had the better looking uniforms, you know, always looks tough and sharp, and I thought, yeah, I want to be a Marine. They said I wanted to be an orthodontist because I was a pre-med major in dentistry, and they didn't have enough teeth to get, you know, to worry about dentists. So they said, we don't have stinking dentists. You know, go across the hall to the Navy. You know, we get all our medical support from the Navy. We don't have any dentists. Don't need them. And it's true, they don't. So I joined the Navy. Second guy I talked to was a Navy chief. And there's several of them sitting at my table right here. They're not laughing right now. But they lied to me. I said, I want to be a dentist. I thought I was going to be a naval officer, right? Yeah. Anyway, I had 3 years of college. I was working at the dental lab, paying my tuition. And next thing I know, I joined the Navy. And there was a black guy that was black first sergeant. No, he was a first class black guy that said, you're going to be a corpsman. I said, a corpsman? That was a culture thing. I went to my first class thinking I was going to be an undertaker. Corpsman. Now that didn't bring any light to anything until Obama said it a few years later. He called me a corpsman too. Well, it does take an experienced mind to figure things out sometimes, but we muddle through life and sometimes we successfully get there. But so I went to the Corps School reluctantly, knowing that I wasn't going to be a dentist. They said you can work on the whole body instead of just the oral cavity. Oh, okay. So, all right, it's only 4 years. I can do something different. You know, if you don't like it, change it. They said, okay. Well, they did send me to orthopedic and neurosurgery course. It's a PA's job today. Even before I got out of the military, it was a physician assistant job. So I was credited with being able to put two arteries back together and suture them together to where they wouldn't leak. Now, most doctors can't do that, but in the military, you get a cram course, you know, that with repetitious training, pretty soon you get it right. No matter how much you screw it up, eventually you get it right. So I was able to save lives by working in the orthopedic surgery. So now the wisdom of the military, right? They send me to Vietnam. Ann mentioned that I volunteered. I no way in hell volunteered. Come on. I damn sure didn't volunteer for the Marine Corps. I joined the Navy to avoid the draft. And then I get drafted into the Marine Corps. I knew God had a sense of humor. And I had already broke all my Crayolas. No greater love than the Marines and their corpsmen. They're sitting, I'm the only guy in this room who can get away with what I'm saying, I guarantee you. Because I'll tear their damn shot card up. Get all your shots all over again. That's the only fear I had, the only threat I had on the whole time I was in the Marine. They screw with me, I'd tear their shot card up, and they all got shots all over again. That's the truth. No greater love than corpsman up. Because your mother's not here, you know. So with all that medical training, I served on a ship. I was, as other guys know, that was in the Navy. You know, there is no doctors aboard the ships. The corpsman did everything. I mean, sorry to hell, but you know, I'm all you got, you know. So I did the best I could. And so when I go to Vietnam, you'd think they'd work me in surgery. No, they got me out there in the line company. I was out there in the bush with the Marines. What the hell am I doing out here, you know? In any case, I was credited with saving 79 lives because of my ability that I learned in the surgery department. I was able to go in and clamp off the arteries and tie off the veins, and because the battle dressings don't work. You know, you can put all the pressure dressings you want on a bad wound, and just 9 times out of 10, you still bleed out, you know. So I believe that God sent me there to do what I did and why I did it, and I did it. I jumped on that grenade to save the lives of the guys that I loved. There is no greater love than willing to, and I did not consider I was going to kill myself. Hell, who the hell wants to fail at suicide? But I've had 50 years to think about it, and I look, and I had compassion for the Marines. You love them, you know. You love the guys you're serving with. But you know, when you first go there, it's not about the North or the South or the communist or the Buddhist or whoever you want to compare. It was the guy on the left and the guy on the right is who we cared about. We only wanted to get them home. Nobody else mattered. So, there's, again, Semper Fi and Semper Fidelis to all the Marines that's ever served. There is no greater love than the Marines and the corpsmen. So, I did that out of love for the corpsmen, love as a corpsman for the Marines. They wrote me up for the Medal of Honor, which was amazing because the head broke all their Crayolas. That's what I was telling them. But they cared enough and they showed enough love that they took care of their corpsmen. I'm preaching you guys to take care of your corpsmen because the Sergeant Major, and everybody loves Sergeant Majors, they said, well, hell, he was just doing his job. You know, that's what we pay corpsmen to do. That's right. That's everybody in the Marine Corps gets less medals than any other branch. And the main reason is they think that's what the hell you're paid to do. You know, it's not like you didn't do anything spectacular. You know, you're looking for a pay raise or something. You know, well, stay in there and you may make pay raise, you know. But if I had to go back in today, I served in the Navy, the Marines, and the Army, I'd sure in hell go back in combat with the Marines. Hurrah. Well, if you look at their songs, just at their songs, their national songs, you know, the Air Force up, up and away, and the Army goes rolling down the hill with the caissons. The damn Marine says, I'll kill your ass. We're here to kill you on sea, land, right? Oh. And my son reminds me of that all the time. Now, he couldn't put up with me. He hated my discipline, so he joined the damn Marine Corps. Something's wrong there. But he made E5. I was saying that I made E5 twice, so I'm an E10. Don't laugh. But anyway, I love my time in the service. I love giving, being part of something. Why did you stay in the military when you got out? My answer is I loved the military. I wanted to go back to college. I wanted to stay connected. I wanted the camaraderie, the brotherhood, the fellowship, I needed that connection in order for me to deal with my PTSD. I did have, I lost my wife and kids because she got smart and moved out because she couldn't deal with me. And I've never felt bad about it. I mean, of course you feel bad about it, but I never have had any bad feelings towards her because she was smarter than I was. I was screwed up. There wasn't any question. We didn't have PTSD labels back then, We were just screwed up veterans. And we had to go through all that trial and tribulation. Now they got labels. Now I know I got PTSD, thank you. So, it's dealing with it. And I say that for all of us to identify that you cannot go to combat and experience what we experience and come home and think you're going to be normal. There isn't going to happen. I was a corpsman. I killed 6 men. 6 men, 3 of them with my knife. And you expect me to put up with your your bullshit, petty ass stuff. I'm not going to put up with it, You could be number 7. I love talking to kids because they're gullible, but they want to learn. Most kids in the high schools and junior highs, just before they know everything. You got to catch them just when they're wanting to learn. The first thing I tell them is, look, you're drinking out of a well you didn't have to dig. Think about that. Well, they have to for quite a while, because milk comes from a carton and beef comes from the grocery store. Hello? Anyway, the whole attitude is I'm trying to teach the young kids a little bit of respect and history about patriotism. That's the only thing I have to sell is patriotism. That's all we all should be selling now is patriotism. You have an opinion, and you have a right to that opinion. If you don't like it here, move the hell out. Buy your ticket. I'll pay for your airline. Get to wherever you want to go. We fought for this country. There's a lot of pride in our country. We have a tendency, the good people, we have a tendency to lay back and not take action when it's necessary. We should. That's where our fault is. We love this country, and we think somebody else is going to step up and scream and holler and demand stuff, and they don't. So who screams and hollers? The frickin' liberals. They scream and holler, and they get what they want. And we need to do the same thing. We always say, no, enough bullshit's enough. Step up and say, no, that doesn't work here in Texas, or keep your, you may move here from California, but keep your voting record back there. Well, I'm from Missouri, and it's a show-me state, and I quickly to tell them the same thing. They come to Missouri, and I said, well, it can be Missouri or it can be misery, however you want to fit in, But how do you stop them? I wish I was more intelligent to where I could come up with answers. Everybody's got the questions. Well, how do we do this? Or how do we protect this? But nobody's got the answers. And the real answers in our own heart and mind is to step up and be accountable and say, no, you need to step, it's a term limits. You need to step down. You've made more than your salary. It's time that we investigate you. It's billions of dollars spent on collusion for what? Like I said, it wasn't me. It wasn't the person. Never mind. I'm not on a political wagon. I'm on a patriotic wagon, and I preach to all of you to be all you can be, and carry the patriotic message to our kids who are. Democrats are trying to lower the voting age to 16 today. No, it's in the paper. It's in the YouTube. Why? Because the intelligent people ain't going to vote for them. They're going to have to get the younger kids. They're going to get the foreigners, the immigrants. You know, I went to the voting bowl. They did not ask me for any ID. I could have been Joe Schmuck. They didn't give a damn. What's wrong with that? Every damn thing you want to talk about, that's what's wrong with it. So we need to have a voice. We, the people, need to step up and demand that we are heard. Thank you very much.